different. I'm not going to necessarily go into any drawing as such. I've got some prepared drawings, and I thought I'd spend a little bit of time maybe covering a few other little tips or hints or techniques that work for me. And as usual, I think there's that rider that I always give. Those who are regular know that when it comes to dimensions and parameters, I'm not necessarily big on those. I'm big on dimensions to get my drawing right, because for me, it's producing a finished article that I like and sits well on my layout. So you won't find me going into parameters in that sense, and I'm more concerned with getting a finished result. And hopefully what I go through tonight might lend you with some pointers on how you can do things. So let's share my screen. Project I embarked on a few months ago of doing some four-wheel coaches. Now, those who are keen-eyed will see that it's very similar in design to the Pico range of four-wheel coaches, which I took as a sort of template, if you like. I also downloaded a picture of a four-wheel coach, an actual one from off the internet, and used that to do some of my tracing on, which is what we've covered in previous sessions. Now, the idea is to have this coach here. I've coloured it in to try and make it look a bit better so you can see it. Now, what I want to show tonight is how easy, with very simple parts, we can produce that one. We can then produce the other one, which let's just go up there. So you can see the first one is a first class, and it's the bodies only I'm looking at tonight. The second one is third class. You can see there's 5 compartments as against 4 compartments. Same length body, so the compartments are more squashed up as you'd expect on a third class. And then the other one that you can do from that is the brake van. Now the brake van's slightly longer, but that's a material. So what we've got 3 bodies that we're going to look at tonight. And I think you'd immediately see that if you sat down and drew those bodies individually, it's going to take you quite a while. So what I'm going to try and show you tonight is how I produce those bodies from just 4 basic parts, basically. And we multiplied those parts and arranged the layout of them to come up with the different bodies. So let's say I now go to that one. So there's the 4 parts that we come up with. We have an end panel, which I shan't talk about till the end. This panel here is the panel that fits on the goods wagon there, goods coach. But the main 2 we're going to look at are these 2 here. So let me just switch off the end panel and the goods panel. And it's these 2 panels here that we're going to produce the first and third class coaches from. Nothing else. Now, I'll open up my show data. So you can see I've got these. That's the blank panel, which is that one. So we've got a blank panel, which is this one. And we've got a door panel, which is this one. And from that, we're going to produce the wagon. So let's have a look at this, how we're going to do it. I'll start from scratch on a blank thing so that I can take you through it. So what I've got, let me just open this one a moment so you can see what we've got. Just bear with me. So that's the panel that's been drawn. Now I'm not going to go into how I drew it in that sense. We can do that another time if people need some guidance on how we got the curves and so forth. And the sketches are there. You can see the sketches that were done to produce it. I'm just showing you that. So that's a drawing in its own right, and the door panel in. So we'll get that out the way. And we'll go back to our blank. So what we're going to do first is we're going to pull in a door panel. Now to do this, you have to have your initial drawing saved. So the blank, will save it first. It doesn't matter what we save it as at this stage. And to pull in drawings, the drawings that you pull in must be stored on the cloud. not on your computer. It won't pull them in from your computer. So we just click on the blank panel and pull it in. And there it is. Let's just move it out the way a bit. And then we'll pull in, we'll just leave it there. Then we'll pull in the door panel, click on the door panel and drag it across and let go. And so there's our two panels that we're going to use for building up this. And we'll do the first class first. And then you can see I won't need to do the third class because you'll get the idea. Now, one of the first things, because I'm going to be copying and moving these and editing them, I want to break the links with the original. So we right click on that one and we break the link, otherwise we can't edit it. And we right click on that one and we break the link on that one. Next thing to check, you see up here, see that little anchor? Let me just, where are you, zoom box? Anyway, you can see the little anchor there. That means that it's anchored to ground, which means we can't move it about. So what we need to do, let's get rid of my zoom box, is again we need to click on that and unground from parent. That will allow us to move it about. So what we want to do now is create our first panel. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one, which is a body, and we're going to copy that body. Go to bodies. What I found, I prefer to copy for what I'm showing. It's my way. You could do it with patterning, but I believe copying is better for what the technique I'm showing you. And we've selected the body there. Now, what I want is this body alongside here. So the way to do that is to use the point to point. Origin point is going to be there, and it's going to go there, and create copy, and we got a copy there. Now I want to take it and put it the other side. So again, now onto that one there, body, select the body, origin point, and this time I want to put it the other side. Now I'm not going to copy it I'm going to move it then, otherwise we'll have copies all over the place. To there. So you can see already now, if I just flick back to the sample, you can see how I've created this section here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, if you notice, that's fine. Now the next thing is to create the next one. But what I need to do then is to copy this one again. So it's copy. And I can copy all three this time. So we'll copy all three of them. Origin point is going to be, let's say, there. This time I want to create a copy. I want it to go to the target of there. And I've got my first four. Do it again. Copy. Again, select my origin point there. My trigger point, my target point goes there. Whoops. Don't forget to press the create copy. And that's that one. Now I need a fifth one on the end. So what I'm going to do with that one, because I've been copying and not patterning, I can get that individual one still. So I'm going to go on there and I'm going to go that one, and that one. I could have picked the last three. It really doesn't matter. And then the origin point, and then from there to there, and again, make sure I got create copy. And there's my side produced from one door panel and one blank panel. Now, it's not quite right, because if we go back to our sample and look at it, you can see here at the top, I want a continuous piece there and there. You can see it on this one a bit better. Now if I go back to here, you can see what I've got. Oh, I don't want that bit in there. So you might think, okay, I'll hit that and extrude it. that doesn't work. It's not, I want to make this into one continuous one. So the way I can do that is to highlight that one, hit the delete key, highlight that one and hit the delete key, and then, and like I say, I'm not measuring it. It's not important to measure. The main thing is you're trying to erase a section of doings. And there you can see now you've got a complete panel, and you can do the same on the bottom panel. Delete, highlight them, delete key, then you can move it. Okay? You can't use, a lot of people will think, oh, it's a curve, I can use the push-pull. But if we were to use the push-pull, it doesn't do what we want it to do. So as I say, if you want to extend that, then you have to delete those. So basically what I do then is I've just done the panel. I won't do the others because you can see it's the same. You will do the same on this one and at the tops as well. So you end up then with a panel where your recesses go right through, they should, and everything's in place. Now, if you want the other side, then I'll come back to that in a moment, because what I'd like to do now is to reverse all that we've done. I'll stop in a moment for questions, then I'll reverse back and we'll show you how we do the first class coach, which is slightly different, but using the same two panels. Now let me just do a whole pile of Zs to get back to there. Now I want to show the first class one now, which is this one that I've coloured, which is slightly different. And again, we're using the same two panels, but we're doing a bit more manipulation. So hopefully I'll remember how to do this. Right. So there's our two panels, okay? So let's first of all make up a section, if you like. And again, I'm not going to worry about cutting these gaps out because I've shown you how to do that. So what I'm going to do is, I say, on the move command, highlight that one, and let's move it from there to there. And let's do it again. And this time, the body is that one. And we're going to move it from that point to that point, copy. So there's our panel, which we had before. And if I just slip back, that's the panel there. Okay, window there, door there, window there. Now we need to create this panel. So what I'm going to do now is take another one of these, like so. And we're going to select the origin point, which is going to be there. Hit the copy, and we're going to go to target point there. Okay, now we need to fill it in. Now it's what we need to do on this one is, first of all, we don't need this surround, so we just highlight it and get a shot of it. And again, now delete that curve, whoops, sorry, delete that one and delete that one and extrude on there and bring it up. It doesn't matter how far you bring it, as long as you bring it past there to there. And don't forget to put it as a join, and there's your blank panel in place. And then what you can do then is highlight that lot again. And I won't go through all this because we did it in the previous one. And we do a move command, and we're doing move, and we're going from there to there. Don't forget the copy. And you can see now how that one is starting to take shape the same as this. And again, you would clean out these top bits in the way I showed you, either as Paul mentioned, by doing them before you start copying, or do them after you copy. It's entirely up to you. Okay, now what we need to look at now is another panel in there, which is the end one, which you get on this particular first class coach. So let's take this panel on the end here, and what I'm going to do is just copy that one. We'll create a copy, and I just want to move a copy out here so we can work with it a minute. Oops, hang on, let's go back again. For some reason, if you're doing a create copy point to point, the create copy stays there all the time. If you do a move, the minute you move it with the arrows, you lose the option to create copy. So you have to click it first. I don't know, it's just an anomaly. So we've got that one. Now, I need to reduce that to half the size. Okay, it's 7mm at the moment, so I could quite easily go on there and reduce it to half the size. But you can immediately see I haven't got the panel there. If we go back to the drawing again, you can see we've got a nice little panel on the end. So I can't do it that way. So what I'm going to do is this: construct offset plane from this plane there. I want it halfway, so that's going to be minus 3.5mm, and put the plane there. And some of you may know already, work out what we're going to do is we're going to do modify, and we're going to split the body. So what we do with this one now is we choose the body, and we choose the splitting tool, which is that one, and we've now got a split body. I hasten to add that all my measurements were all worked out on paper before I even started this project. That's why I'm not doing measurements now. Now what I do now is I select this one, so I go into move, and we select that one, point to point, and what I want to do now is move it. So I'm going to move this one from there to there, and there I've got the end panel made. Now if I take that out the way, because what on the end panel I wouldn't have this one, so let me just delete this one out the way a moment. Where is it? Let me put another one in there. I'm getting myself confused now as well. It's on. I'll put it on this end since we're there. So what we're going to do is highlight, move it, and I'm going to move it by point to point again. So we select the origin, which is going to be that one there, and we put it on the end there, and finish it. And now what it's done is it's brought one of them only, because there was two models there, remember? So that's where you got to watch. So if I go back, because when I split this, I overlaid the right hand one on the left hand one, which gave me the good result, but still left two bodies. So let's go back, undo split, redo there. So what I've got to do, I've got two bodies in there. Let's turn off this construction a moment. So what I need to do before I can do anything with it is highlight it, modify it, and combine it so it becomes one body. Now when I select it, it's one body, and I can now do my point to point. So the origin point is going to be that one, and I move it to there. And you can see now it's gone in properly with its paneling. On the question of origin points, although I picked these top left, you could pick the bottom right. The main thing with you doing copying like this is to make sure it's no good picking, say, that origin point and then on this one the other one, because obviously what will happen is this corner on this one will line up with the back corner. So you've got to do like for like when you're copying origins, and that's going to be the first class one. I'm not going to, you can see with, you don't want me to go further, do you, and copy them all? You've obviously got the idea, I hope. If we now look at the, where are we, back to samples, and we look at this one, let's just turn these two off a moment, final, and where's it gone? Wrong one, that one, and that one, and that one. You can see on here what I've done, if you remember with that blank panel, 1, 2, 3, 4 blank panels in a row, and then just sculpt out that as I showed you. The doors are the same. The doors, this door is just a mirror image of that door. So you can see that even with those 2 panels, you can create the guards van with the exception of this bit at the end. So that's the one panel which I showed you. Where's it gone? That panel there, that's the one panel that's pushed in to there, and you're adding it in the same way you added the other panels. So hopefully that all makes sense. Let's go back now to, I want to go back to a single panel. Where are we? Let's say that one. So let me quickly take that one out the way a minute. Delete that. Delete anyway. So what I'm going to do now is very quickly show you how to do the other bit. Is that we'll just add a bit more to that now. And again, origin point there. Let's get rid of that out the way a minute. To there, and copy. Don't forget, you get the copy command when you're doing the origin, but if you're doing the free one, you've got to hit copy before you start moving. So let's assume that that's the side of our coach. I know it's not quite finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to mirror that now. So what I want to do is create a small construction offset. Doesn't matter where. I just want to do an offset here, and we'll just shove it there. And so we've got an offset plane there. And then we highlight all of them, and we do a mirror command, which is there. Objects is bodies, sorry, bodies there. Highlight the bodies. Mirror plane is going to be that one. So that gives me the other body. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is bring in the end panel, which I'd previously designed. Now the end panel is the same for all the coaches. We'll just drag that into there. And let's just spin it around before we start there. And we want to spin it round by 90. And then we want it in position on the end. So again, the same technique you can do. Go into move. Let's get rid of those sketches. But before I do, there's something I forgot, and that's to unlink it. Let's cancel. Unlink it so I can do something with it. And then I'm going to highlight it. Bodies there, that one. And then my origin point, manipulate round here. The origin point now is going to be that point there. And my target is going to be there. And that's the end panel on. And then let's get rid of that sketch so we can see better. And I want to do the same with this one, so it's highlight that lot. Body, and again, the origin point is going to be there, and the target point is going to be there. Now, the reason that happened is because when I highlighted it in the orthographic view, as it were, it only picked up that first set of bodies. So let's go back. And let's make sure I get all the bodies this time. Better. Origin point there. Target point there. And you can see it's not gone in because, as I warned you earlier, I picked that point, not that one. So I go back to there, delete it, pick out a new one, which is that one, and in it pops. And then the same with this end one. Then I can pick the end panel again, end panel, copy it. And I need to spin it around first. So what I'm going to do now is create copy. And I'm going to do an ordinary move this time. So I'll shove it up the end here somewhere. I need to spin it around. So I'll spin it around there through 180 degrees. Did I type? Yeah, 180 degrees in. And then highlight it again. I mean, you can do this all in one go if you want to. Move it. And again, what we're going to do is go point to point. I mean, you could drag it in and mess about with it and line it up by eye. And we're going to do, it doesn't matter where we go now, we want that one. Capture position. And we want to go to there. And there's the other end panel on. Whoops, I didn't. Now, you all know why that didn't work? Because I didn't press the create copy button. So let's go back and just go back to where we were. If you remember, I said when I moved it, I should have pressed copy. So we'll choose that one again, highlight it, and we're going to move it. And this time we'll press the create copy button. And let's get it up that end first. Whoops, I've lost it again, look. Create copy, capture position. Once more, this is a good learning curve for you. End panel. Select end panel there. Create copy. And you've got to reselect it. Right. Go into there. Now when you go there, you see it disappeared again. And that's where I went wrong. Now it will stay there. Now I can go up here. I'll spin it around 180 degrees because you could mirror it, but it's just as quick to spin it around by 180. And then again, we can go into there, bodies, select the body, point to point, that point to that point. And this time we do have a completed body. I'll start from scratch because what you're not much concerned then. Who was it again? Paul. You're not concerned with all this, Paul. What you're concerned with is the profile, isn't it? Right. I'll show you how I did the profile, which is very easy, really. Go in a blank one. Now I'm doing this purely by hand. I'm not going to do dimensions. Okay. Sketch, sketch. Height and overall width, okay? Then I work out how far down I want, because the straight goes to here. Now, whether the straight ends here in real life or ends there, on your model you're not going to see it. But by having the straight go down to the bottom of there, it makes it a lot easier drawing this, because you're drawing this on a flat part then, not a curved bit. So all you're basically doing is there, and all I do then is, let me get rid of that so I can see my measurements. I'm doing that 3-point arc, and I find my point there. I find my point, say, down there, and I just do the arc there, right? Then we got the sort of the kicker board at the bottom, which is there. I then delete what I don't want. Sometimes I must admit, while I'm at it, I get rid of construction lines sometimes because they're automatically generated and they can get in the way at times. And there's my profile. And then you just take that profile, extend it, and then you do create sketch, and you go on here, and you just then start drawing in your windows, etc. And to get the other bit is offset. I do that offset. I'm doing this quite rough. Now you can't offset an offset. So you've got to go back to your original, do an offset up there, into there, and then basically what I've got there is highlight that one. Well, let's finish sketch. Highlight that one and extrude it out, which gives you your sort of external molding. And then that one, then you can create your frame with, and then finally put your glass window in. Now that's too thick. That would be ridiculous if your perspex behind there. And if you look at what I've done on the panel, I actually made my panel, because I wanted some thickness down the bottom. Let's get rid of some of these panels so we can see what we're doing. I've done a recess there. Now it serves two purposes. A, it creates, a tidy dimension there so it looks good. But secondly, it gives me an ideal aperture when where's my sample. It then provides me with an aperture, this coach is slightly different, in which then you can place your perspex for your windows, which can then fit in there quite nicely, and you've got a bit of space top and bottom to glue them. The only other thing that I would say in this one, and there's two ways of doing this, because let me go back to my panels a minute. Where's the door panel? The only difference with the door panel, you'll notice, look, is a groove. See the groove there?
Yeah.
I'll explain now. Now, what that groove is there, you can do that one of two ways. You can either do it by profiling it and sweeping, or you can do it, I'll do it on this one. So what we do on this one now is we'll go on to sketch, and we'll sketch on there. Okay, and again, very rough this is going to be, I'm afraid, and I'll do it larger so we can see it. So we'll say it's like that, and then what you need to do now is, because you can't extend that back, what I do then is to go back into my sketch on that one. Where's the sketch to? That one there, isn't it? Sketch, edit sketch. And then do a slight offset on it to the edge like so. And then what you're doing, you use the emboss command to take that profile there, and you're embossing it back onto this surface, and then it will emboss in, and you'll end up with, whoops, gone again, this effect. And the reason for that, now the size of that in the way I work is about 0.4 millimeters by 0.4 millimeters, and all that does is simply, whoops, these are resin printed, so that all it does is create a small groove in the resin print to simulate the gap in the door. So the size you make it is down to your printer, really. I found about 0.3, 0.4 wide and deep on my resin printer, the way I print, and then by the time it's all finished, you can see the outline of the door, sort of thing.